Right now, underneath the hood of your car, there's a component clogging itself with carbon soot. And it is doing it silently, invisibly, and expensively. The exhaust gas recirculation valve, the EGR, is choking your engine. And when it finally fails completely, the bill sitting on the counter at your local repair shop will read anywhere from $400 to some $200. Labor alone often hitting $350 before a single part is touched. But here is what the automotive service industry has known for years and chosen never to advertise. A $3 aerosol can, used correctly, cleans that valve completely without ever removing it from the engine. No disassembly, no shop, no appointment. The fix exists. They just needed you not to find it. The automotive repair industry in the United States generates over $115 billion per year. A significant portion of that revenue comes not from complex repairs, but from routine maintenance that manufacturers and service chains have successfully convinced the public requires professional intervention. The EGR valve is one of their most reliable revenue sources. Mechanics know that most car owners have never heard of it, cannot locate it under the hood, and will hand over their credit card the moment a warning light appears on the dashboard. The check engine light comes on. The code reader says P0401. The service advisor nods gravely and says, "Your EGR valve needs to come out." What they don't tell you is that in the majority of cases, the valve is not broken. It is dirty. Carbon buildup from years of recirculated exhaust gas has caked itself onto the valve, stem, and seat, restricting movement, triggering the sensor, setting the code. The valve still works, it just cannot breathe. And the shops charging you $800 to pull it apart know exactly what they are looking at. But that changes today. By the end of what you are about to hear, you will know exactly what the EGR valve does, why it clogs, what chemical compound dissolves that carbon buildup without the valve ever leaving the engine, and precisely how to apply it in a way that works permanently. You will have the complete step-by-step process that professional detailers and old-school mechanics have quietly used for years. And stay with me, because toward the end, there is one critical mistake that almost everyone makes when attempting this. A mistake that does not just make the treatment fail, it can actually make the buildup worse. The EGR valve was introduced into mass-market automobiles in the early 1970s, mandated by the Clean Air Act as a mechanism for reducing nitrogen oxide emissions. The valve recirculates a portion of exhaust gas back into the intake manifold, lowering combustion temperatures and reducing the pollutants released into the atmosphere. It was considered an engineering achievement at the time, but from the moment these systems began accumulating mileage, engineers noticed an unavoidable consequence. Exhaust gas carries partially combusted carbon particles, and when those particles are routed back through the intake system repeatedly, they begin to coat every surface they touch. By the mid-1980s, the clogging problem was well documented within engineering circles. Internal service bulletins at multiple major manufacturers acknowledged that EGR carbon fouling was a predictable, scheduled failure. Not an accident, not a defect, but a mathematical certainty based on mileage and engine type. What happened next is the part that took researchers decades to fully piece together. Rather than engineer a chemical maintenance protocol into the standard service schedule, something cheap, something a car owner could perform, the service industry absorbed EGR cleaning as a labor-intensive shop procedure. The knowledge that specific penetrating solvents, when introduced at the correct point in the intake system, with the engine running at a specific RPM, would dissolve and evacuate the carbon through the exhaust. That knowledge existed in trade literature, in fleet maintenance manuals, and industrial diesel servicing guides. It simply never made it to the consumer. The industry built a wall between that information and the people paying the bills. That wall is coming down right now. And this is where it gets interesting. The specific mechanism by which this works is the part the automotive service industry spent decades making sure you would never stumble across on your own. Because once you understand why it works, you realize it requires no skill, no tools, and no labor charge whatsoever. What I am about to show you is the part they buried. The product is a throttle body and intake cleaner, specifically a high-concentration solvent spray available at any auto parts store for $2 to $4. The most common formulation contains a compound called 2-butoxyethanol combined with petroleum distillates. What this solvent does to carbon deposits is not complicated. Carbon buildup on an EGR valve is not hardened steel. It is a porous, semi-brittle matrix of combustion byproduct, essentially the residue of partially burned hydrocarbons that is compressed and baked onto metal surfaces over thousands of heat cycles. This solvent penetrates that matrix at a molecular level, breaking the carbon's bond with the metal surface. When the engine is running, and that solvent-saturated carbon is exposed to heat and airflow simultaneously, the deposit softens, fragments, and is carried out through the exhaust. The chemistry is not exotic. Industrial cleaning operations have used similar penetrating solvents on carbonized metal components for decades. It works because carbon is porous and the solvent is designed to exploit that porosity. You're not scrubbing the valve, you're dissolving it from the inside while the engine does the work for you. Most people stop here. They hear spray it in and assume it is a guessing game. It is not. The delivery point and engine condition at the time of treatment are what determine whether this works completely or barely at all. Step 1. The engine must be fully warm. This is non-negotiable. A cold engine will not generate the intake vacuum or the exhaust heat necessary to fully evacuate the dissolved carbon. Drive the vehicle for at least 10 to 15 minutes before beginning. Highway speeds are preferable to city driving for this warm-up phase. You want the catalytic converter and exhaust system thoroughly up to temperature. Step 2. Locate the intake air duct, the large corrugated rubber hose that runs from the air filter housing to the throttle body. On most modern vehicles, this is immediately visible when you open the hood. You do not need to remove it. You need to find a vacuum port, a breather port, or the crankcase ventilation hose that connects to this duct. On the majority of vehicles built in the last 20 years, there's a small rubber hose, typically 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch in diameter, connected somewhere along this intake path. Step 3. With the engine running at idle, disconnect this small hose and insert the nozzle of the intake cleaner directly into the open port, or spray directly into the disconnected hose end. Apply the solvent in short, controlled 2-second bursts. Do not flood the intake. 5 to 7 bursts per application is sufficient. After each burst, hold at approximately 2,000 RPM for 10 seconds by pressing the accelerator slightly. You will hear the engine stumble. This is correct. This is the solvent hitting carbon deposits inside the intake tract and disrupting them. Do not be alarmed. Step 4. After your final burst, rev the engine to approximately 2,500 RPM and hold it there for 30 seconds. Then let it return to idle. You may see white or gray smoke from the exhaust. This is the dissolved carbon exiting the system. This is exactly what you want. Step 5. Repeat the entire sequence twice more with a 5-minute driving interval between each application. 3 total treatment cycles. This is where most people fail. They do 1 application, see smoke, assume the job is done, and stop. But the second and third cycles reach the deposits that the first cycle only partially loosened. The warning here is critical. Never apply a full continuous stream of solvent into the intake without pausing. A sustained flood of liquid solvent into a running engine can cause hydraulic lock. Liquid, unlike air, does not compress, and forcing it through a combustion cycle at full volume can bend connecting rods. Short bursts, always. This is not a cautionary suggestion. It is the line between a successful treatment and a destroyed engine. Before you wrap this up in your mind as a simple cleaning tip, there's one more thing about this solution that almost nobody talks about, and it applies whether your check engine light is on or not. Done proactively, before any fault code appears, this treatment does something that no mechanic will ever recommend because it eliminates the appointment entirely. Carbon buildup on the EGR valve is a gradient problem. It does not happen overnight, and it does not fail suddenly. It fails slowly, progressively, across tens of thousands of miles. If you perform this treatment at every oil change, every 5,000 to 7,000 miles, the carbon never reaches the threshold required to trigger a fault. The valve stays clean, the sensor stays happy, the code never sets, the $800 repair never happens. You have essentially removed an entire category of automotive failure from your life for the cost of a can of cleaner every few months. Now consider what this looks like in numbers. The average EGR valve service at an independent shop runs between $350 and $600, parts included. At a dealership, the figure climbs reliably past $900 once diagnostic fees are added. The aerosol treatment costs $349. If you drive a vehicle with a gasoline direct injection engine, which covers virtually every car sold in the United States and the United Kingdom in the last decade, carbon buildup on intake components is not a possibility. It is a scheduled certainty because, unlike port-injected engines, GDI engines do not wash their intake valves with fuel. The carbon has nowhere to go but to accumulate. Fleet operators who manage large numbers of GDI vehicles have known about solvent induction cleaning for years. Taxi companies, delivery fleets, rental agencies, they build it into their maintenance schedules because the math is obvious. $3 every 5,000 miles versus $800 every 80,000 miles. The calculation takes 4 seconds. The industry does not advertise this to private car owners because private car owners are the ones paying the $800. What you now know belongs in a different category from most automotive advice. This is not a tip. This is not a hack. This is a suppressed maintenance procedure that has existed in professional circles for decades, costs almost nothing, and prevents one of the most common and expensively billed repairs in modern automotive service. The carbon problem is solved. The EGR valve is clean. The appointment that was going to cost you $800 no longer needs to happen. But here is what you need to understand before you walk away. The EGR valve is only one component in a chain of carbon-related failures that GDI engines develop over time. There is another component sitting deeper in that same intake system that experiences even more aggressive carbon fouling. A component that cannot be reached with a spray can at all. A component whose failure mode is misdiagnosed so frequently that hundreds of thousands of drivers have paid for repairs that address the wrong part entirely. That story is longer, the fix is different, and the industry's role in keeping it buried goes back further than the EGR problem by nearly 20 years. What component is it, and why has its failure been deliberately mislabeled for 2 decades?